Lawrence Shove has a unique job. He is the only man in Britain who makes his living as a freelance recordist of wildlife sounds. You might say he's a hunter, a lone hunter who uses the most novel of all weapons, the tape recorder and microphone. With these, he captures the voices of wild nature. His trophies aren't hung in the baronial hall. They go onto gramophone records sold in thousands. He lectures with them. They provide sound effects for films. They're broadcast on the radio and on television. Shove is one of those fortunate men whose hobby has become his job. A small Devonshire farmhouse, and not at all the sort of place you'd expect to find full of electronic equipment.
In May 1959, I heard a new bird singing on the farm. It was a nightingale, further west than it should have been. Knowing what a sceptical lot bird watchers are, I decided to record its voice. It was a turning point in my life. By this time, I could see no future for me in farming, but where was the escape? The early man catches the bird, but farmers are used to early rising, and I already know my recording site. It annoys me to oversleep. I plan my recording procedure over a cup of tea. Then I'm all set to be on site well before the dawn chorus begins. With a comfortable timetable such as this, it's easier to cope with unexpected problems. Everything has to be right. No wind, no extraneous noise, the right time of day, and the right season for the bird. The wind is easily the worst bugbear. It puts an irritating rumble on the tape.
By the time Shove began, tape had replaced disc, but that early tape machine needed a mains supply. To be more mobile, he has to take his electricity with him. In the boot, a vibrator converter to produce 250 volts, so the same mains model of recorder could be used in the field and at home. A 12-volt battery. It was with equipment like this that Shove worked for 5 years, building up a tape library of hundreds of recordings of mammals, amphibians, and birds. When recording the dawn chorus, the microphone is positioned to face an expanse of woodland and shrubbery which is most likely to produce a great variety and volume of song. The long microphone cable is needed to get away from the noise of the vibrator. If the planning has been well done, everything should be set up before the first outburst. Last-minute noise and bustle may frighten the birds. The motor car's all right. Birds are used to them, so they make the ideal recording place.
The first fortnight in May, when the summer migrants have arrived, is the best season for the dawn chorus. No one seems to know its exact significance, but it may be that the birds are staking territory before it's light enough to defend it against rivals. In the autumn and winter, I play back the season's bag of tapes and relive the frustrations and successes. But the big job at this time is editing. And while doing this, I plan to improve the inferior recordings next season.
To mark Britain's first National Nature Week in 1963, a wildlife tape recording competition was organised by the BBC and the Council for Nature.
Mr. Lawrence Shove, who's a farmer near Exeter in Devon, sent in this recording of the song of the pied flycatcher.
This was one of Shove's earlier recordings. Though he didn't realise it at the time, it was destined to bring him fame and to help him take another big step forward in technique. In 1965, Lawrence Shove struck oil. His persistence was rewarded. One of the big petrol companies commissioned him to make a series of discs. He was now a professional wildlife recordist.
The fascination of sound recording for me is the uncertainty, trying to outwit a wild creature, pitting your wits against a wary bird in the hopes of capturing its voice as a trophy. When I play a recording, the memory of the moment comes flooding back. If I had to pick one memory, it would be the most weird and stirring experience of all, when in the middle of the night on a tiny Welsh island, the Manx shearwaters came flighting in.